People often want to know whether it's best to deadlift with a hex bar or with a straight bar. And I always think this is kind of similar to when people want to know whether it's best to learn to dry up with an automatic car or a manual car. With the hex bar, you have a bar that's very kind of comfortable to lift. You stand inside the frame, the weight is very close to your sides, and therefore the weight is very close to your center of mass and your base of support. That makes it a lot easier to learn. It makes it a lot easier to kind of build confidence with and for you to feel stronger with as you go into it. And it's slightly easier to hit the positions you need to hit in order to make a good lift. With the straight bar, because the weight is in front of your shins and throughout the whole of the movement it will be in front of your body, and you have to pay a bit more attention to how you kind of keep yourself close to the bar. That makes it a little bit complex. And because you've got that weight in front, you're also dealing with how to make sure that your back stays flat as the weight pulls you forward. You're possibly producing a bit more kind of forwards and backwards force there to resist that sensation. And that requires a bit more complexity and a bit more awareness of how your back moves and how your knees move, so your knees don't get in the way of the bar and things like that. So we have one movement that is, a bit more complex and one that is a bit more simple. So I think the instinct that most people have when they have that information is to just go for the hex bar, whether that's a person just going to the gym or whether that's a trainer as well. Everyone kind of wants to do the lift that's a bit more straightforward. It's easy to start adding weight and kind of feeling that burn in the legs and that, that hard effort of lifting a heavy weight, because it's very simple. Within a week, 2 weeks, you'll be able to start loading up heavier and heavier because the technique will usually get picked up very quickly. However, I actually think that simplicity is one of the biggest drawbacks to the hex bar. When I train someone to deadlift, I want them to, there's a couple of things I want them to do. I want them to be able to have a transferable skill for picking up awkward objects outside in day-to-day life. I want people to be able to manage forces going through their back. And I want people to be able to target their posterior chain, so their hamstrings, their glutes, and their lower back. And all of those things are that little bit more trainable when the bar is in front of your body. I think when you deadlift with a straight bar, you have to think about how close you are to the bar. You have to make sure that your knees get out of the way of the bar in time. And yeah, you have to kind of resist that temptation to kind of be pulled forwards, to be rounded forward. So you're ticking a lot of boxes there with a straight bar. Whereas because a hex bar, the weight is to your side, you're inside the weight, it's very close to your body. Those demands aren't challenged quite as much. So this isn't me saying that every exercise you do in the gym has to replicate a real world movement, and it's not me saying that exercises have to be awkward in order for them to be applicable either. But I just think that if you're weighing up the choice of going for the exercise that is the quickest to learn and load up, or one that takes a bit more of a time investment, I think you're better off just investing a little bit of time on the straight bar so that you've got those skills. And I think if you do that, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how well prepared you are for a hex bar deadlift after a period of straight bar deadlifting. Now, if you're someone who currently deadlifts with the hex bar quite a lot and you want to make that transition over to the straight bar to kind of round out your skills and your strength, then I would recommend starting with the Romanian deadlift. This exercise will help you focus in on your hip hinge skills. It will help you start to manage having weight in front and having a bit more load through the hamstrings, glutes and lower back. And it will start to get you thinking about where you are in relation to the bar. So those are my thoughts on hex bar versus straight bar deadlifts. If you found that useful, please give us a like and share that video on your social media channels. Hopefully someone else will find that interesting as well. And have a lovely day. Hopefully we'll see you for the next video.